My name is Franz-Josef Wodopia. I'm Managing Director of the Coal Importers Association in Germany. But if I say Germany, I have to add we have 50% of our members in Europe. For this year, I'm quite sure that we will have 45 million tons of imports, so down 6 million tons. It's not easy to say what will happen within the next year because the German domestic coal is phased out, so maybe we will gain 3.5 million tons. On the other side, the result will depend on whether we will have new wind capacity or not. This depends on decision of this government. So it may be stable with a downward tendency, and the next towards 2030, I would say this completely depends on the decisions of the German Coal Commission. The situation seems to be rather stable. We have reliant customers, 40% from Russia, the next from the US and from Colombia. And if there is a need to mix coal, so because of the high sulfur coal from the US, I think they always find possibilities to have the mix they need. So I do not see any restrictions. I think the goal is to have 2/3 of renewables in the electricity system. I think this makes a lot of sense because Spain already showed that you can still manage such a system, but I think this is for the time being maybe also the upper limit. Now the question is how we reach this goal. We have to stabilize the grids, we have to improve our grids, and as long as we do not have this, we need additional capacities to store electricity. And there we think about new solutions, for example, that the hard coal-fired plant has in addition a storing facility where you transform salt from the firm state to the fluidized state. That means not to produce chemicals, because you lose a lot of energy if you do, as they say, what do they call it? Power to X, yes, power to X. So I think it's the other way makes more sense. But as I said, we need storage capacities, and if we do not have these capacities, it doesn't make sense to have any plans on more renewables in the system. It's not too bad to say, well, every year there's an interesting conference, and I attended it in the past, and it's good to be there. Well, to meet colleagues, but more interesting is indeed that we always had great presentations. And for example, the person who had a presentation on the CO2 market and the API2, that was very interesting for me. And most often we have very interesting presentations, and therefore I always would like to participate if possible.